Alright, gang. Phone them. So today, hold on a second. Oh, there's a hole here. Does that help me? Not really. Oh, there's a hole there. This is real long. Dang, no. Okay, that's alright. That's not a problem. What if I plug it straight into the mic? You can't plug it straight into the mic? Dang. No worries. Someone's gonna have an adapter. And when that someone... That's alright. We need to make a little list right now. Office needs... Wait, didn't I already do this? Pop burrow needs. Oh, this is the pop burrow. That's right. Chair lube. Did it. Mouse pad. USB hub for hard drives. Headphones that plug into Mac. What else do we need? Alright, that's good. Okay. Alright, now, can we clean up the sources? Let's get the GoPro up and running. So, alright, hold on. Where is that? Oh, here. Bop, bop. Bop, bop. Alright, now what I would really, really like to do today, I want to send an email out to the gang. Okay, that's good. iPhone back. iPhone back. Come on, it's hard to select it. Boop, boop. 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 Come on, grab it. There it is. That's fine. Alright, that's absolutely fine. Boom. I know what we should do. I know exactly what we should do. Just make it a note. So let's add a source. macOS screen capture. Agenda, we'll call it. And it'll be the Notes app. That's fine. Window capture. Boom. That's good. Show cursor. Boom. That's good. And then what we can do is we can go like this. And we're just going to put it like that. Bop, bop. Agenda. Okay, let's make that. Let's make this window smaller. And let's make that bigger. Bop, bop. Oops. Wait, what if I leave this? I want this up all the time. How do I do that? How do I do that, big bro? Properties. Show full screen and hidden windows / applications. Nope. It's alright, no big deal. Alright, agenda. I want to put my feet up on something. I want to put my feet. Oh, I can put my feet up on that's fine. Okay. All right. So what are we trying to do today? Okay. Obviously, we need to see. Yeah, play our chess games. We need to can we do How to Be Human today? We want, if Bad Student pops on today, we want him or her to tell us what. Oh, let me close the door. Where is How to Be Human? Wait, there's Being You. Alright, so I'm thinking we're gonna do How to Be Human. Not super long. Yeah, this is what we'll do. Are you kidding me, bro? I'm gonna be honest with you, that annoys me. What happened? Why does that not really want to work? Why do I feel like I'm forcing it? Alright, How to Be Human. Oh. How to Be... Alright. How to Be Human, Ruby Wax, written with a neuroscientist and a monk. Russell Brand. Russell Brand says, beautifully fused neurology, and spirituality. All other books will become defunct. Alright, David Eagleman. Alright, so there are some real. David Eagleman says enchanting, educational, enlightening. So that's good. Alright. Alright, so we'll read that. How many pages do you want to read, bro? This is great. I think we're gonna really enjoy this. Let's read the preface. And okay, so where's how to be human, preface, emotions, thoughts. Yeah.
Okay. I've got to see. Where are those big boards that you have? Whiteboards. Not in
here. You want to add something to today's task list?
What time do you work together?
What do you want to work together on?
That list.
When are
you available for doing the garden audit, for instance?
Let's do that at 1. Okay. Let's write that down. 1 p.m. What time is it now? Alright, so we've got 2 hours, and that's good. Let's be very clear about how much time we have. Garden audit, 13. That's good. Walk to Neo and Uncle. Great. But I also need to do my own shit. Like, shit that's gonna be boring for you. But I still need to stream it, because otherwise I just won't do it. Well, just so much easier to do it when feel like I'm being held accountable. Fuck, dude. Oh, 8%. How come? Why isn't it charging? Oh, no wonder it's giving me. Why isn't it charging, big bro? Oh, because it's just plugged into the computer, maybe? Alright, so we'll just switch out the battery. Let's unplug. Turn it off. Pop out the battery. That's so whack to me. But I guess because it's plugged in the computer. That's alright. But how long does the battery last, really? Ah, I bet it lasts longer if it still lasts longer being plugged into the computer, I'll bet. Okay, great. Let's pop out this micro SD. Bam, blam. Alright, let's do this. Also, not that I actually am trying to make money here, but I just feel like, you know, if I'm streaming while I'm at my computer, I can say to Dad, oh, hey, you know. So we have some big plans. Alright, and then lastly is what? Alright, good. And then what were we saying? We can at least organize all dash cam footage. We can at least do that. That's good. Okay, so what do you want to do first? I'm sorry, we're gonna organize dashcam footage first. Alright, so step one, open that. Step two, let's see. Oh my gosh, I think we might have so many things. Alright, let's make that smaller. Let's add a finder window. Alright. Okay, okay, can I make that a little bit bigger? Alright, we still gotta see what else is going on here. Open that. Open that. Oh boy. We can do it. Here we go. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very confused right now. Where is the actual dashcam footage? this, for instance. Where is this? This is in stripe. Alright. Alright, we need stripe, bro. Where's stripe? Here it is. Did I fuck this up? So we're gonna start this file transfer, and I think it's gonna be a bit of a big one. Please work. You're shitting me. You're shitting me. And so is this just shut off then? It still says webcam. Hard drive doesn't want to come on. Okay. I'm gonna drop this. Forget about this. Pop. I'm gonna put stripe in it here. Hey, is this audio boom? Yeah, okay, I bet it is. I'm gonna make sure. Okay. Stripe. Footage dash cam. Aye. Right, that's why. HIJK. And that's as much. Can we fit any more K onto here, bro? Golly. I hate that the whole year can't fit onto one drive. And I think this is a 5 terabyte too. It is. God damn, bro. That's alright. That's not a big deal, is it? How much is this? Damn. That's alright. Footage black. Dash cam 2024 K2L. Alright. Excuse me. Okay, so now So have we done all these? Great. So this folder can definitively. What about this? Great. Oh, this isn't just so we have like 5 months to catch up on. Okay, that's done. We still gotta go through them, and we might do that now. So do we not have a big file transfer to do then? Rove A, gone. Empty trash. Hopefully we're not deleting a bunch of important stuff. Alright. Remove. Wait, 45.7. That should go out. What is this? Why isn't it showing up here? I don't even know what here. I should have all this. No. Great. I think this has already been cleared, actually. So we can put this back in the GoPro. Alright, I like having that office view. Okay. So so we're done. We have organized it all. We ejected this. Alright. But we still got to go through it, bro. But we'll read a little bit. 768 files? Ooh, 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 ooh. Alright, and none of them has been named. Okay. That's not right. So why can't you see that? Okay, great. Huh? Oh, I didn't drive it at all in April? Oh, that's not right. That's not true, is it? Don't tell me I just deleted some files I wasn't supposed to delete. No, it can't be true. Maybe it's possible I didn't drive in April. Or it might be on another SD card. Let's try B. Dang. Did I not drive in April? My dad came on the 8th. I definitely didn't drive after the 8th. I guess it's possible, right? Yeah. It's possible. It's possible. Yeah, I just drove on the last day. Because then Erwan came. Yeah. Okay, that's true. Okay, great. Woohoo! Alright, let's take a look at some of these. Alright, let's name these. This way, at least we've done... Alright, let's do it.
Recording started.
Oh, I haven't done this in months. How do I do this again? So this is when I arrived on the ferry back in Barcelona. So we go rename, replace text, and ferry Barcelona. That's good. Where am I going? So now we have to open Safari. And we're going to look at my timeline. What? That's crazy. Oh. That's bullshit. Bullshit. That's alright. That's not a big deal, actually. Alright, so we're gonna do now iPhone screen. Video capture device. iPhone screen. Okay. Device. I'd have to be plugged in. Well, lucky me, I have the GoPro unplugged. Boom. Alright, there you go. Fuck you. Alright, good. There we go. Alright, let's go. So what are we doing? This is the end of November. Okay, very good. So we drove from Barcelona to Santa Saloni. Oh, come on. That sucks, bro. And why is it doing this? I'm sorry, hold on. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna do that and we're gonna read a bit. Alright, let's read. Hold on, I gotta pee. Can you look for my pen while I pee? Can you peruse for my pen pendant que I pee? The fuck, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's so glad he's alive for this opportunity. Absolutely. Where the fuck is my pen, bro? Where is my pen? You don't have my pen.
No, got it.
This is unbelievable, bro. How did this happen? How did this happen, bro? How did this? It could have dropped. I wish I could think about anything other than this pen right now, and we could just start reading. We can certainly try. I know that I had it. Didn't I? We were writing in this notebook with that pen. It was not this pen. I don't use this pen unless I need other colors. take a breath. Where haven't you looked? Oh, glasses. Where haven't you looked, Eris? Well, I'll tell you where I have looked, first of all. I have looked on this surface. I have looked on my necklace, and that's where it should be. And if it's not there, it should be on this surface. Okay, maybe it fell. Let's look really well on the ground. We got frustrated with the phone. We got frustrated with the GoPro. We didn't throw the pen. We don't really do that. I want to throw this one. I want this out of my hand right now, because that is not the pen I am looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's so glad he's alive for this opportunity. And he knows he looks fucking silly getting so upset. Everything is literally fine. Except, no, literally everything. Even your pen is chilling somewhere and will find his way back to you. I guess it's possible that we didn't use it in here. Maybe it's in the kitchen. Maybe it fell off. Maybe it's outside. And maybe we just have to accept do you feel like you're ready for that? You say you're not, but I kind of feel like maybe you are. Is that crazy? Because you could easily think that I'm about to lose my fucking shit. But you would be so wrong. I am cool as a lion cucumber right now. Just a couple of deep breaths. Couple deep breaths. Let's check back there, and then then we're gonna stop looking is what we were going to say. But that was if we found it, actually, to be honest with you. Alright, you just fuck off and let me find my pen. I don't know where else to look. We got no red on here, bro. That's okay. So what? What do you mean, so what? What if we don't understand something? How are we going to note that for the fucking future, bro? You understand? I mean, I don't know how many times I can look in the same spots. Hey, Dad! Dad! Okay. Okie dokie, big bros. We have definitely looked everywhere that we are going to think to look now. So now we're just gonna sit down and read. We're gonna stop looking for this pen. We're going to accept that it's okay that we can't find it right now. Somehow we're going to accept that. I'm actually just stalling, hoping to fucking find it, bro. Alright, no, we're not. I can do it. I feel it. I feel it. I'm ready. Let's go. I'm not even tripping. Look at this. Alright, so 2025 Delbert 24 Delby. How to Be Human, the manual. A monk, a neuroscientist, and me. Those are the authors. Not literally me. That's just what it says. She's a comedian, see, so. With special thanks to Ashish Rampura for his outrageous knowledge of neuroscience, and Buddhist monk Galong Tubten for his wisdom of the mind and great sense of humor. Ash is funny too. Also, with great gratitude to my editor and wonderful husband, Ed Bai, and to my other editor, not my husband, Joanna Bowen. And thanks to my kids, Maddie, Max, and Marina, for not becoming crackheads and making me so happy. Okay, she is funny. Alright, let's go. Here's our monk, comedian, and neuroscientist. Okay. Alright, preface. Let's read the preface. 2025 Delber 24 Delby. That's not a 4. After writing my last book, I said to myself, never again. It's like having a baby. You're in such pain during the birth, all you want to do is chew your arms off. It's the same with writing a book, except you're dilated for more than a year. But when it finally comes out, and it thrives, hits number 1 on that bestseller list, oh my god. All you want to do is get fertile and do it again. So here it is, my next baby. In the beginning was the Word, and then my book. I'm going to start where we all started, back in the swamp, and with a fine-toothed comb, find out exactly what happened to make us who we are today. I spoke about this in Frazzled, which I guess is her previous book, but am now digging deeper. Are we everything evolution dreamed we'd be? If not, who can we blame? Not that we can do anything about it, but if there's life on other planets, they may learn from us. The human race is a miracle when it comes to survival. If you're alive and reading this book right now, you're a bona fide gold medal winner in the evolutionary Hunger Games, where you had about 1 trillion to 1 chance of not being born a frog. Where you had about 1 trillion to 1 chance of not being born a frog. You had 1 trillion to 1 chance of not being born a frog. So it was very likely that you would not be born a frog. Right? I don't get that. Where you had about 1 trillion to 1 chance of not being born a frog. What? Since we don't have our fucking red pen, we can't not understand something. I mean, because that should mean... I mean, I feel like it's supposed to mean... You could have been born a frog, but you weren't, so isn't that great? I don't get it. By the way, have you seen my pen? It's silver and white. And that's alright if you haven't. Okay. Yeah, right, okay. She's too funny and clever for me, bro. What'd you say about my pen? Where'd you say you saw it? We spend our time on Earth in a constant hunt for contentment, and as far as that goes, we're in a holding pattern. Guys, I'm worried I'm not going to read it with the right delivery, because it's meant to be funny, and it is funny. I'm fucking up the delivery, bro. So what's going to happen? And where are we going? You can't stop the future from arriving, no matter what drugs you're on. But even if nearly every part of us becomes robotic, we'll still have, fingers crossed, our minds, which hopefully will be able to consciously upgrade, making us more human and less machine. You only need a mind to practice mindfulness and compassion skills. No fingers or toes necessary. And no amount of titanium in the world can give you those qualities. Mindfulness isn't for everyone, but from my own experience, and according to scientific evidence, mindfulness rules. Maybe in the future someone will invent a wearable mental Fitbit which can help us achieve insights and awareness. But it ain't here yet. Since writing the last book, A Mindfulness Guide for the Frazzled, I've practiced every... Oh, she's English? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, she has an OBE. Here, let's check her out. Let's see how we're supposed to read this. We're not gonna be able to reproduce it, but at least you'll be able to kind of picture it in your head.
Terra is the IT painkiller. Remote monitoring and management, remote access, help desk and ticketing, smart automations, patching, software deployment, scripting. And the amazing thing is that it does all this while still being...
One in 4 people suffer from some sort of mental illness. So if it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It's you, sir. You. Yeah, with the weird teeth. And you next to him. You know who you are. Actually, that whole row isn't right. That's not good. Yeah, real bad. Don't even look at me. I am one of the 1 in 4. Thank you. I think I inherited from my mother, who I used to crawl around the house on all fours. She had 2 sponges in her hand, and then she had 2 tied to her knees. My mother was completely absorbent, and she would crawl around behind me going, "Who brings footprints into a building?" So that was kind of a clue that things weren't right. So before I start, I would like to thank the makers of lamotrigine, sertraline, and reboxetine. Because without those few simple chemicals, I would not be vertical today. How did it start?
God damn it. Thank you. This is... Alright, I'm never turning that off again. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Let's go back. God damn it. So that was when we played the video. Okay, I know where it was. Alright. Thank you very much, Robert. Te amo. Since writing the last book, A Mindfulness Guide for the Frazzled, I've practiced every day along with every excuse in the world not to do it. It's a constant struggle, but somehow I squeezed it in. The result being I'm happier, calmer, except when I'm handed a traffic ticket, then I'll go for the jugular, and more able to focus my mind where I want it, when I want it, and to me that's a big part of happiness. Most importantly, it's helped me sense depression coming before it hits. This doesn't mean I dodge it, but now I'm ready for it. When I sense the tiny, far-off footsteps of despair, I batten down the hatches, swiftly unplugging from any contact with the rest of the world, both on-screen and in person, giving me a chance to cold turkey off my addictions to emailing, needing to be liked by everyone, even people I don't like, and worrying about what's going to nix us next, North Korea or too much salt. I'd say I'm different since the last book, but my insatiable desire to know everything about everything remains. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. Luckily, I found a brilliant neuroscientist and a Buddhist monk to help answer some of my niggling questions. I figured the monk could explain how our minds work, and the neuroscientist could tell me where it all goes on in the brain. And I kind of rolled my eyes at that. A monk has has a lot of insights into the mind, because a monk is a mind just sitting with itself and observing itself. But it's still a mind doing the observation. So I would expect a monk to guess how the mind works and a neuroscientist to tell us. Anyway, after living and breathing for what seems eternity with the monk and the neuroscientist, it feels like we're an old married threesome. We harangue, nag, and bitch, but our relationship continues to flourish because we can make each other hysterical. I might say to the monk, "Hey, that's way too Buddhist sounding. I don't want to hear another B word out of you tonight." And he'll flip me back "That's 2,000 years of wisdom, sweetheart. Swallow it." At one point, we were thinking of writing another book, combining our separate wisdoms called Act Like a Buddha, Think Like a Jew. When the neuroscientist starts cocking his high IQ feathers at us, the monk and I tell him to start speaking in human tongue or we'll cut him out of the book. I've been squeezing them dry for more than a year, leaving them empty and exhausted, but I got a book out of them, and that's all that counts. At the end of each chapter, I let them out of their cages to riff. Chapter 1, Evolution. As I said earlier, it's those ancient whispers that have instilled in us a drive to be Top Gun, or at least Top Gun's best friend. They make us survive as a species, but individually, they've made us miserable because we feel like we're in some race, but we don't know what for. By showing you how we evolved and why, you'll come to realize that you are not your fault. Evolution did it. What a relief. Chapter 2, Thoughts. Why do we have them? And why, oh why, are they so bitchy? My hope is that in this chapter you'll come to understand that your thoughts aren't who you really are. If they were, who is the one observing them? Once you understand this, then you can pick and choose which thoughts to use and which to lose, and that is the yellow brick road to happiness. So Buddhists are missing something kind of major with this. Like, they're this close, I think. You are not all of your thoughts. But you are your thoughts. I mean, you can define yourself as trying to be the observer, but there is no impartial observer. It's just another thought reacting to a thought. So the one thing I feel like that Buddhists didn't get about the mind is or the way I understand it anyway, is there seems to be this suggestion of an impartial, pure observer of the passing thoughts. Chapter 3, Emotions. Emotions are like the old joke they say about wives. You can't live with them, you can't live without them. The reason we have them is to help us navigate our lives, informing us what we like, don't like, and why you chose to buy this book over all others. And a huge thank you for that. And anybody else? How to Be Human. Okay. Without emotions, we're zombies. So really, it's not I think, therefore I am. It's more like I feel, therefore I am. Chapter 4, The Body. Many of us don't think that our brains have any relationship to our bodies. They're strangers in the night. Some of us, like me, find the body to be an irritating piece of skin I have to drag around under my neck like an old wedding train. The fact is, the brain and body are in constant communication, each influencing the other. If you think happy, your body is happy, and vice versa. So one thing I really like is that it's pretty clear here, you are a brain. You are a brain. And what I usually say is that, my job as a brain is to feed and reproduce and protect this body. I do a pretty bad job of it, but that's sort of my basic purpose. And I say F that purpose. I would rather, I haven't really been smoking much, but I would rather, I'd rather see what we can do for the culture. Chapter 5, Compassion. So much social media, and we're more isolated than ever before. Partially because we're not talking to each other face to face, only face to screen. In this world, few of us have the time for compassion, being so busy with such a tight schedule. But we're going to need it if we want to survive as a species, not forgetting that it's the glue that makes our lives worth living. Chapter 6, Relationships. Who's got that one right? We're all caught with conflicting impulses, a crossfire of desires which tear us in opposite directions. The sex god or the safe one? This has always been the female dilemma, choosing between brute or a good guy. And ladies, I'm both. I got you. See Wuthering Heights or Gone with the Wind or any I'm gonna fall or any episode of Friends. Many of us grew up with the delusion that someday our prince will come. This explains why many of my friends are miserable today, because they never found one. We're so used to upgrading things like our iPhones as soon as they get old, we don't think twice about it. We're so used to upgrading things like our iPhones as soon as they get old, we don't think twice about it, we dump them. Many people I know are now on iWife 4 or iHusband 8. The motto being, if it's new, it's better. Chapter 7, Sex. You'll love this one. Chapter 8, Kids. You are the sculptor of your child's mind. Every look, reaction, and gobbledygook that spills out of your mouth will influence who they'll ultimately become. Before you panic and reach for the Xanax, you can still learn to change your behavior, thoughts, and emotions to give your kids a better chance at becoming resilient, balanced, and basically a better human being. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Chapter 9, Addiction. Throughout history, there's always been something to be addicted to. But these were substances you could chew, smoke, or snort, physical addictions. Now we're addicted to eating, gambling, shopping, sex, the phone. The world has become an endless buffet of temptations. These days, it's not just physical. We're also addicted to our obsessive thoughts. So the idea is, if we change our thoughts, we can change our addictions. Oh, you're not. That's not Robert. This person loves Robert. I got you. Okay. Chapter 10, The Future. I only hope that whatever apps or robotic appendages we end up with will still be able to look inside ourselves and have some awareness of our thoughts and feelings. The danger is that we might live life floating from one hit of pleasure to the next, from experiencing sex with blowfish to being able to read the minds of trees, which will only lead to a craving for more, and there won't ever be enough toys on earth to make you feel full. Chapter 11, Mindfulness Exercises. For all the above topics, the monk and I will provide accompanying mindfulness exercises. All the practices are like using barbells in the gym. But with these weights, you're making your mind more focused, more flexible, more aware, less distracted, less addicted, faster, healthier, and above all, more compassionate. Chapter 12, Forgiveness. We're all capable of forgiving, but in our world, like compassion, with so many things to do and people to be better than, it's hard to slot it in. Only if we can forgive ourselves will we be able to forgive others. Rather than always finding someone to blame for our discontent, we might be able to finally negotiate and relate to people not like us by seeing them as just like us. I'd now like to introduce the monk and the neuroscientist without whom I couldn't have written this book. The monk. Gulong Tubten became a monk at the age of 21 at Kagyu Semye Ling Tibetan Buddhist Monastery in Scotland. I didn't know this until recently, but Gulong is a title meaning lifelong senior monk. I thought it was his first name. Tubten is now 46 and teaches mindfulness at companies such as Google, LinkedIn, Siemens, and many other organizations around the world. What the fuck? What are you doing, Tubten? Hold on. I want to Google this guy. Because this reminds me, I went to Switzerland. I went to a monastery in Switzerland expecting, I had a certain image of what monks would be like and what their values would be. And I saw some monks like that. And I also saw some monks that were not like that. Who were like, hey, what are you doing? Like some monks said, hey, you can sleep in this bed, come to the activities, there's breakfast in the morning, it's so cool that you've hitchhiked your way here. And others were like, do you have money? Like, you need to give us money for the bed. Also, we do classes, but we make sure no one who doesn't pay gets in there. They have the latest iPhones. They weren't about teaching, more like leeching. What the fuck are you doing teaching at Google, LinkedIn, and Siemens? Why not pair up with Ceasefire? I'm sorry, I'm judging too harshly. Let's look this guy up. But why not pair up with Ceasefire? You go downtown Chicago with some former gang members of Ceasefire, and you talk to people in the street about mindfulness. At the fucking rec center, bro. You could do something about violence in Chicago, and instead you're making sure that fucking Larry Page or whatever Indian dude of Google makes more money. What the hell? No. Does he have a wiki? And maybe this is just what she emphasized, for her audience. You're just gonna have to hear an echo, otherwise I'll forget to turn the mic back on.
Thank you, thank you. So, I'd like to start by talking about the concept of freedom. I think the term freedom, the concept of freedom, is something that is very important to us. We're very passionate.
Alright, you know what? I'm sorry for getting mad at this guy. Just looking at him reminded me, hey, let's be zen. He's doing his part, we're gonna do ours. Go talk at Google. That's great. And that gave you the authority, the eminence, whatever, to be involved in this book. And I'm so grateful that you were. Thank you, Tubton. Thank you, Galong. Okay, or thank you, whatever. Alright, I apologize. Alright, very good. Let's go. I got it. Okay. He also... Oh. Why didn't we read the next sentence? Alright. Tubton is now 46 and teaches mindfulness at companies such as Google, LinkedIn, Siemens, and many other organizations around the world. He also trains school kids and medical students in mindfulness and, more importantly, worked on this book with me. A little about his childhood. His father, who is English, made a fortune as a successful computer programmer, and his mother is the well-known Indian actress Indira Joshi from the Kumars at Number 42. They are now divorced. At 6, Tubton ran away from home, planning to hitchhike around the world. He only made it to the end of the street, where they found him holding a globe of the world and a box of Kleenex. His mother took him home. At school, the other kids thought Tubton, pronounced Tupten, was highly intelligent and had no friends. They thought he was nerdy. What they didn't know was that at night, he and his English teacher from school played music in venues across London. Tupton was a jazz pianist, tinkling the ivories while his teacher belted out classics like Summertime and The Girl from Ipanema in a smoky red dress. The girl, belted out classics in a smoky red dress. Tupton was 14 at the time, but pretended he was 21. He slicked his hair back and wore a dinner jacket to look older. The pair planned to take their act onto cruise ships. No one at school knew about his double life. Tupton went to Oxford University to study English literature, but finally blew it out of the water to pursue his dream and become an actor. He got an agent in London who sent him out to audition for parts. Most of them had the word Buddha in the title. The Buddha of Suburbia, Little Buddha. He didn't get any of those roles, so decided to move to New York to pursue his dream. He lived an incredibly wild life as a budding actor, but eventually, after 2 years, he burnt out, coming close to having a heart attack. That was when he had the wake-up call that made him reevaluate his life. So at 21, Tupton went to a Buddhist monastery to get his head straightened out. 4 days later, he became a monk. Everyone he knew, including his parents, were very surprised. First, he became a temporary monk for a year to clean up his act. His plan was to go back to New York after the year to his old life. It never happened. He stayed for life. After a year, he went on a strict 9-month solitary retreat where he could only eat 1 meal and drink water on alternate days. He spent 5 months of it in total silence, practicing meditation for 12 hours a day. Later, he went on an even more intense retreat on a secluded island off the coast of Scotland, this time lasting 4 years, again with 5 months in total silence. At times, he says it became too much. He was holding on by his fingernails, sometimes literally clutching his seat, battling with his mind for 2.5 years, facing his demons, and then, suddenly, there was a shift, and he gave in to the practices. He says he felt himself relax and make friends with his mind, and now knows how to hit a mental switch and access feelings of peace and happiness. Tupten was trained by Akong Tulku Rinpoche, a seriously big player, who took him around the world, showing him how to speak for large audiences. As well as teaching Buddhist philosophy, Thupten has been a pioneer. Tutop. There was a monk, one of the nice ones, named Tutop. I don't know whether, but I thought it was just Top. I don't know. As well as teaching Buddhist philosophy, Thupten has been a pioneer in teaching mindfulness in prisons. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. In prisons, hospitals, schools, charities, universities, drug rehabilitation centers, and companies. I'm sorry, bro. Starting 20 years ago before it became popular. In those days, it was always called meditation and only became known as mindfulness in the last 10 years. When Thupten teaches, he keeps religion out of it, focusing on the breath, body, and compassion. As a monk, Thupten doesn't get paid, but the big companies give donations. I'm sorry, Thupten. I'm sorry. As a monk, Thupten doesn't get paid, but the big companies give donations, which he uses to build retreats and mindfulness centers that help thousands of people. Recently, he was asked by Disney to be the mindfulness advisor on the set of the movie Doctor Strange, and he taught Tilda Swinton and Benedict Cumberbatch mindfulness between takes. Both were already into it. I met Thupten at a conference in Sweden. Loved him on sight, and he now stays in my house when he's teaching in London. I call him my air freshener, or the human smudge stick. We know how to make each other laugh until one or both of us fall on the floor. The neuroscientist. Ash Ranpura is a clinical neurologist and a neuroscientist. He received his bachelor's degree in molecular neurobiology at Yale, his MD in clinical medicine at the Medical College of Ohio, and worked on his PhD in cognitive neuroscience at University College London, where he also taught master's courses in statistics and research methods. He conducted research on learning and autism at the University of California, San Francisco, before returning to Yale to complete his specialty training as a consultant in neurology. As a doctor, he sees patients with unusual disorders that fall between the disciplines of neurology and psychiatry. And he has treated, those aren't really separate disciplines anymore. I guess they are, but anyway. And he has treated everything from brain parasites to hysterical paralysis. Ash has published academic papers on topics ranging from growing slug neurons on glass and whether fish can count, to the prevention of communicable disease in Bangladesh and the use of medication in Alzheimer's. I asked him, and he said fish could count, but only up to about 8. I don't think I have to say that he's very smart, and I was intimidated when I met him. Now I've got to know him, and I see his flaws loud and clear. Too many to mention, so I'm not so scared of him anymore. He was born in Dayton, Ohio, which he says was once home to the Wright brothers, and is now the home of the 24-hour pancake breakfast special. His mother, who was born in Mysore, India, was recruited to the U.S. for a job in internal medicine and anesthesiology because of a dearth of qualified doctors in rural America. She met Ash's father, also a doctor of anesthesia, at a hospital in Ohio. I'm guessing over someone they had just knocked out before surgery. Ash says his mother was overprotective, and when he was a child, she would do drive-bys at his school and friends' homes to keep tabs on him. Later, she tried to stop him from dating, hoping for an arranged marriage. It didn't happen. Ash inherited both his mother's and his father's intelligence. Ash inherited both his father's and his mother's intelligence. He never got a grade below an A at school. He says getting a B was an Asian F. Straight A's were the basic expectation. By the way, never mind. Though his mother was highly educated, she believed in omens, saying things like, "The cactus always blooms before your sister comes home," or "A bird chirping 3 times means your dead grandmother is watching us." Ash describes her premonitions as Hallmark card meets witchcraft. He assumed this mixture of the mystical and the medical was normal. From the earliest age, Ash remembers that all his parents talked about were their plans for death. They made him promise at the age of 3 never to put them into a nursing home and not to take drastic measures to save their lives. Drastic measures seem to include taking anything for illness other than turmeric and warm milk. They had seen too many people end their lives suffering in hospital and thought it would be wrong if they lived too long and wasted the family money. Ash said the first words he learned were, "Pull the plug." His father died suddenly of a heart attack, so the question of pulling the plug didn't come up. He was cremated, and his mother, always frugal, declined an urn and put the ashes in a cardboard box. One random day, she decided to burn the box and the ashes in a fire pit at a park in Cleveland. She was going to roast some corn for dinner anyway. Because things were running late, her sisters were coming for dinner. She thought she'd get everything going at the same time. She said a quick prayer and roasted the corn on top of the burning ashes of the father. They went home, and Ash's sister made salsa out of the roasted corn and peppers. When his aunt found out about the barbecue/funeral, she left the house in a fury. But Ash's mother, maybe because she's a doctor, felt she was simply being practical. She is 80 years old now, recently got a degree in psychiatry, and still works at a hospital, sleeping there several nights a week. Ash is married to Susan Elderkin, a successful novelist whom he met in London, and they have a son, Kieran, who is probably going to be a genius. Alright, I gotta pee, and then, so we finished the preface, that's great. I'm gonna pee, and then we'll start reading Chapter 1, Evolution. Great. The Arbs. You want to see how I'm doing in here? Check this out. Check out my setup. So now on YouTube, people, "Hey, I was just wondering where you were, Neo." Good boy. And then I'm reading this book here, How to Be Human. And then I read this, and then people can listen if they want. Alright, Chapter 1, Evolution. What exactly is this thing called evolution? Let me clear up something about evolution. I was taught in school that when we evolved as a species, it meant we were improving the whole time, each generation developing more advanced features. I found out this is a common misconception. Evolution doesn't mean the species gets better. It just means we become better adapted to the environment, sometimes at great cost. What works for us as far as surviving is concerned also might work against us, such as human ambition. One example is us getting up on all twos. Great for hiking, but the downside is we get backache. Had we remained in crawl position, we'd be fine, and chiropractors would be out of business. People today may be living longer than they did before, but it's not clear that people are living better, or that in 100 years from now, they'll be living more improved lives than they are today. What went wrong? Evolution did a fine job helping us adapt to changes in the weather and the dodging of dinosaurs. Full points for helping us out with survival, but not so many for helping us figure out what we're supposed to be doing here on planet Earth. It's this sense of unrest, this nagging feeling that we're supposed to find some meaning that makes us, especially existentialists, very, very unhappy. Feel like it should be the opposite, because existentialists are supposed to understand that you can choose your own meaning, and that there's no absolute meaning that you have to go find, and you failed if you don't find it. There is no absolute meaning, so you can't fail in the search. You just choose. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks about that. I didn't put a opening quote. That's fine. You forgive me. Yeah, right?
I think that sentence captures something real but conflates a few threads, especially with the aside about existentialists. Let's break it down. The sentence. It's this sense of unrest, this nagging feeling that we're supposed to find some meaning that makes us, especially existentialists, very, very unhappy. What it gets right, the nagging feeling is familiar to many, that life should have a clear, coherent, and satisfying meaning, and that we're failing if we don't find it. That sense of lack, of a missing anchor or narrative, is absolutely a source of suffering for many people. It's also true that those who turn inward and examine that absence more rigorously, like some existentialists, may feel it more intensely. What it oversimplifies. 1. Existentialists aren't especially unhappy because of this feeling. They're the ones who confront it head on and often derive strength or creative liberation from it. For example, Camus doesn't say life is meaningless and therefore tragic. He says, life is absurd, and in embracing that absurdity, we become free. Sartre emphasizes that we are condemned to be free, but that also means we create our own meaning. 2. The sentence treats the longing for meaning as a flaw or problem, rather than something that evolves naturally from predictive cognition, is amplified by cultural narratives, and can be channeled constructively or destructively. In IT theory terms, that nagging feeling is probably an activation of predictive structures that expect coherence or purpose. especially in the face of high uncertainty or existential questions. The unhappiness comes not from the absence of meaning, but from the prediction error. I expected a why, and the system isn't supplying one. Existentialists don't suffer more from that. They just refuse to resolve it with comfortable fictions. A better rewording might be, it's that unresolved prediction, this sense that there should be some overarching meaning, that produces unrest. Existentialists don't ignore that tension. They walk directly into it. Want to refit or reframe that original line together?
No, it's alright. Thanks. I'm just gonna roll this parsley. Because we're not smoking tobacco anymore. So, parsley is what gives us the fun of smoking without the risks, I guess, or with fewer risks. Alright. Great job. Aye, aye, aye. Okay, so that's ready to go. Alright, back to it. Okay. So what went wrong? Well, evolution did a fine job helping us adapt to changes in the weather and the dodging of dinosaurs. Full points for helping us out with survival, but not so many for helping us figure out what we're supposed to be doing here on planet Earth. It's this sense of unrest, this nagging feeling that we're supposed, it's this nagging feeling that we're supposed to find some meaning that makes us, especially existentialists, not true, very, very unhappy. Baboons are still going around having the time of their lives while we're tearing out what little hair we have compared to baboons, trying to suss out why we don't feel good enough. We're at the top of the food chain, for God's sake. What's to not feel good enough about? Even grasshoppers don't have low self-esteem, I'm guessing. We can deal with danger, but in the face of envy or comparison, we're helpless. You can't club those emotions like you can a predator. They aren't a physical entity. Well, they are. Right. So, I'm going to read the sentence without her claim that emotions aren't a physical entity, and just skip right over that because what she says next is good. You can't club those emotions like you can a predator. They aren't a physical... Oh, fuck. You can't club those emotions like you can a predator. You'd just be clubbing yourself to death. When we get trapped by envy, it grows into rage, which can grow into illness, addiction, and eventually mental disorders, especially for kids. It's a miracle evolution worked at all. What were the chances that out of some stardust, we would make it through to now with our full set of teeth intact? As far as we know, no other planet managed to pull this off. They haven't made a single cell of anything interesting while we've already sold 12 trillion McDonald's burgers. Astronomer Fred Hoyle wrote, to imagine what a human being could emerge. To imagine that a human being could emerge by random chance in the universe is like trying to imagine a hurricane blowing through a junkyard and creating a 747. We give ourselves such a hard time for things that are out of our control. For me, this news was a revelation. The fact that I am not my fault, but merely a player in the DNA legacy, has done wonders in helping me stop being so self-critical. My addictive drive to achieve, whether it's getting someone at a party to like me, who I'll probably never see again, and or don't even like, to saying, of course I can write a book in 3 months, and ending up institutionalized from the pressure. I now know that this drive isn't something I'm doing on purpose to torture myself. It's not just my condition, it's the human condition. It's something that's been passed down by our Paleolithic forebears for survival's sake to keep us striving for rewards. Hurrah! I don't need to be absolved by any shrinks, priests, or rabbis. Human history is the culprit. Our relations. Why are we so hard on ourselves when, in our evolutionary time scale, we're still in our infancy? Here are a couple of facts to show that we as Homo sapiens are still a work in progress and not at all as cutting edge as we like to think. Yeah, that's an important line, because for me it's this easy. Because once you step back, like basically, here's what I suggest you do. But here are two options. One, picture it's the year 25,000. Hell, picture it's the year 1,000,000. And you're thinking back to, wow, what do you think humans were like when they first invented a calendar system? Like in the first couple thousand years that they were using calendar systems, or the first 5,000 years they were using calendar systems. Well, you would imagine that they were pretty primitive compared to you now in year 1,000,000, right? Their culture was probably pretty dumb, and also just their capacities were lacking. So yeah, you step back and you picture like this, because it's very easy to go, okay, well, the current moment is the last moment to ever happen so far, and so it is kind of the final moment, and so, you know, I can't imagine, so we are at our final stage. But no. Another option, think about a species that you consider more similar to our ancestors. So, I mean, that's not entirely fair, but just picture chimps. Anyway, you get it. The point is that use some perspective and realize, oh, why do we trust ourselves so much? Why do we think, because the way we talk about ourselves, but now, you know, we've got things figured out, we're humans, we have rationality. What are you talking about? We don't have rationality. Our systems may be more rational than, several generations ago, several, 100,000 years ago, but we don't have rationality any more than they had rationality, or any more than we will have rationality in this absolute binary sense in however long. Alright. We share 98% of our DNA with great apes, and about 90% with mice. And it gets worse. We share 30% of our DNA with yeast. I heard that there's a t-shirt with the slogan, "You share 25% of your DNA with bananas. Get over yourself." I read recently that researchers discovered a wrinkled sac-like body about 1 millimeter long that's all mouth and no anus. I'm not making this up. So food goes in and comes out of the same orifice. It's called Saccharomyces coronarius. It turns out it's related to us, even though it existed 540 million years ago and is now extinct. So there's another reason for us to not get up on our high horse. Darwin wrote, "Why is thought, being a secretion of the brain, more wonderful than gravity, a property of matter? It is only our arrogance and our admiration of ourselves." That's good, huh? Why is thought, being a secretion of the brain, more wonderful than gravity, a property of matter? It is only our arrogance and our admiration of ourselves. The history of us in a nutshell. So this is the last section that we're going to read. We began as a single-celled piece of protoplasm sticking to a rock. It was a pathetic sight. We remained in that state for millions of years. Then we advanced to algae, not an impressive leap. Later, we went through our fungal phase. Yes, you are related to the mold on last week's sandwich and old yogurt. Next, we became parasites. and moved on to being jellyfish, to worms, to jawless fish, to sharks, Wall Street stage. Our fish out of water amphibian period ended when we replaced our fins with feet and crawled out of the water. After that, there was no stopping us. At this point in our early mammal days, we looked a little like hamsters and spent our time dodging dinosaur feet. Then, accidentally, a meteorite fell down. Those of us who survived continued to develop. The rest were squished. Somewhere between 40 to 25 million years ago, we went from being apes to being orangutans to being chimps. About 6 million years ago, we went bipedal and homo. Not that kind of homo, stay focused. Only for the last 200,000 years have we been modern humans. Homo sapiens. Sapiens translates roughly into thinking about thinking. We were, and are still, the newest kids on the block. I did not know that. I always just thought it translated to wise. But it translates to roughly to some kind of metacognition. That's kind of cool. That's interesting. I didn't know that at all. Huh. This doesn't mean we're now flawless. We didn't dump all our old primitive equipment. Those reptilian parts are still alive and well within our brain. So that's where we are today. Part savage, part genius. That ancient region left over from about 300 million years ago had its uses, endowing us with the ability to breathe, swallow, hump, sneeze, the basics. Eat, Pray, Love would never have been made as a bestseller back then. Eat, Fuck, Kill might have been the bigger hit. Our mammalian brain is about 100 million years old, giving us some emotional range and the ability to bond. About 200,000 to 500,000 years ago, an area of our brain known as the neocortex had a growth spurt, giving us the ability to plan, to self-regulate, to control our impulses, and become aware of ourselves. With this more advanced part of our brain, we learn to speak, to use symbols, solve problems, and imagine the future. The downside was we started to worry and ruminate about what-if scenarios, not to mention the mother of all worries, knowing that we're all going to die, which all adds up to making us a very jittery race. Okay, great job. We'll call it a morning, and we'll be back later. Good job, everybody, and bye. Your live stream will stop.